Where the f is he? Where is he? Where the f is Mr. Panda? Tell me where he is. Tell me where he is. Oh! God! Shit! Mr. Panda!
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Oh. Oh. He's safe. He's safe. We're good. He's safe. He's all good. He's all good, baby. Well, I got a question for you. Have you ever stopped to think, maybe, man, God, I want a PS5 so badly, and I'm sorry if you haven't found one, by the way, yet. It's very tragic. But you're like, well, what am I gonna play on it anyway? What are they gonna play on it? Well, that's what I'm gonna help you determine. Hopefully, eventually, when you do get a PS5, some of these cool games will be out. So I figured I would compile them here in a cool video and tell you about some cool games that you probably don't know about. Mr. Panda, they can't see the screen. That you probably don't even know about because they've been maybe flying under your radar or something. And you're too excited for Horizon 2 and God of War 2 to give a shit about anything else. But hey, I'm here to tell you, we're here to tell you that you're wrong. And you should care.
I care now. You make me care more.
About some other things going on too, because there's some pretty cool things coming. Most of these are kind of like indie games, which is pretty sweet. A lot of them don't get a lot of attention, but hey, I think that they're going to be really cool. I'm super excited for some of these games, and yeah, hopefully you learn something. Hopefully you learn a thing or two, or are surprised about a thing or two. So I hope you guys enjoys it. If you have any questions, leave it in the question boxes below. And if you enjoy it, give us a subscribe. Do one of the bell things that they always talk about. And give us a like too, because it helps us a lot actually. Cool. Thanks. I really hope you guys enjoy our video. Upcoming PS5 games. Good chat. Alright guys, so we're going to dive into the first one with Returnal. Returnal is Housemarque's newest game, and Sony has been pushing it in a really big way. They're pushing it a lot, probably because it's going to be full price, but nonetheless, I'll let you decide if that's a good idea or not. Housemarque is known for making fun, fast-paced bullet hell games like Resogun and Dead Nation. If you are familiar with those, Resogun was actually one of the launch titles for the PS4, and it was actually one of the best. It was an amazing arcade-based space shooter bullet hell that was just such a blast. And they also made Dead Nation, like I said, which was a top-down zombie bullet hell survival game, which was also a blast that I put way too much time into. Now, obviously, I personally loved both of these games, so I think Returnal really is going to live up to the hype, at least I hope so. Returnal is a reset on death, third-person roguelike psychological horror game with fast-paced, intense gunplay along with power-ups and abilities. That is a mouthful. If you don't know what that basically means, bullet hell is pretty much what it sounds like, just so many bullets in your face. And a roguelike is a procedurally generated dungeon crawler, so if you've played things like Hades, you'll get the idea for sure. Basically, every time you die, the area and the enemies will change, so you should always be experiencing something new, at least in theory. In Returnal, you play as Celine. She is a space pilot who is stranded on a desolate and hostile alien planet. Celine seems to be seeking some kind of way off the planet, and she must break an endless cycle of dying and, you guessed it, returning. From what I've seen, the game looks as though you'll be facing a pretty large variety of enemies, some seriously awesome aliens, and you'll be scavenging the planet for their badass tech and armor to basically take them all on. This is without a doubt Housemarque's most ambitious game. It'll be their first AAA game, which is why it's probably got that $70 price tag slapped on it. And honestly, with Housemarque's previous track record and the current state of quality roguelikes like Hades, Returnal has a ton of potential, and honestly it could be shaping up to be one of the biggest surprises of 2021. Returnal is dropping very soon too, and you can get your hands on it April 30th if you're lucky enough to have a PS5. This next game is easily one of my most anticipated games of the year. I'm seriously so excited for this game. It is called Kena Bridge of Spirits. Kena Bridge of Spirits is the first game from Ember Lab Games. Up until this point, the studio has really only made kind of a series of animated shorts and like a few other projects here and there in the past, including an amazing Majora's Mask animated short that is just so fucking awesome. You should definitely check it out. I'm gonna drop the link in the description below, so if you haven't seen it and you have some time, it's just a couple minutes, I highly recommend it. It's so good. Their animators are so impressively talented. Kena is an action-adventure game with an amazing art style, obviously, that literally looks like it was pulled straight out of a Disney movie. On the surface, it seems like Ember Labs has taken some cues and inspiration from Zelda, particularly Majora's Mask, obviously. It seems like that was a really big influence. And other action-adventure games too, with colorful and fun art styles, like maybe Ori and the Will of the Wisp or something like that. You play as Kena, a spirit guide who uses magical abilities to help her guide the dead to the spirit world in order to reach a sacred shrine. Unfortunately, some corruption has seemed to spread throughout the land, and it's basically up to her and some adorable spirit companions called Rot to stop it and get to this sacred shrine. You will build a team of these little Rot to upgrade and enhance your magical abilities. Obviously, she is equipped with a staff that looks like it can also be used as a bow and seems like it has quite a few other uses. It seems like it'll be the main focus of combat and probably puzzle solving in the game, along with using Rot in whatever kind of way you can utilize them. The game seems to focus really heavily on narrative, fast-paced and engaging combat, and puzzle solving as well. The combat in this looks fucking sweet, man. Like, it's just so fast-paced, and the enemies look really super cool and unique. I love like the overgrown, rotting, kind of dilapidated style that they have. They look really fierce. The enemies look challenging, and honestly, it looks like you have access to a ton of sweet abilities. I'm unsure exactly if it'll involve any kind of RPG elements, but I think that's kind of unlikely, to be honest. I think it's going to be more likely that you'll kind of unlock set abilities as you progress through the story. So think of like the original God of Wars, for example, right? You like beat a boss and then you get this cool new thing, whether that be like a shield or like some kind of new ability, or, you know, maybe her bow starts to be utilized more. Something like that. The game looks extremely unique though, and if you're at all into Zelda, Ori and the Will of the Wisp, basically any colorful animated action adventure game, I think Kena is absolutely worth checking out. I'm seriously pumped for this one. You will be able to get your hand on Kena Bridge of Spirits August 24th. Alright, the 7th game on this list is yet another one with a just wild art direction and super unique gameplay. Solar Ash is being developed by Heart Machine, which was the team behind Hyper Light Drifter. I don't know if you've played that or not. I haven't either, but apparently it was an amazing game. I've had some friends that got into it and really enjoyed it. But Solar Ash is a 3D platformer that's based on high-speed traversal. So since the game has a heavy focus on traversal and speed, it will require a lot of precise timing. So I'm kind of getting a rhythm-based vibe from this game. Although music does not seem to be the center focus of the game, it definitely seems to facilitate that sort of gameplay. The combat style is all centered around the fast-paced nature of the game, so expect that to be a core element of the world and the gameplay. The game takes place in a giant black hole, where you will take control of the character Rei, who is trying to save her home world. You will eventually face giant sentinels who hold the keys to saving your home. This, of course, gives me really big Shadow of the Colossus vibes, just seeing these giant sentinels, which I'm always down for, but it should be really interesting to see how complex and engaging they can make these bosses with like the fast-paced nature of the game. It could be really cool. Anyway, that's pretty much all the information out there at the moment on Solar Ash, but if all goes as planned, you can get your hands on it sometime in June this year. This game actually almost didn't make it to the list. It was actually just announced a couple months ago at Sony's last State of Play, and it looks fucking sweet. I'm super stoked for this game as well. All these games I'm stoked for. Fuck! There's just so many good games. Anyway, Sifu tells a story of a martial arts student whose family was slaughtered by 5 mysterious assassins. He then sets out on an 8-year path to prepare his body, mind, and soul for, naturally, revenge. Gameplay-wise, the focus is intricate, fun hand-to-hand combat. It's safe to assume that you can use a number of awesome counters along with the environment to kick the shit out of everyone. Additionally, you'll be able to play as a female protagonist as well, which has not been shown off yet, but it's still a cool option. I'm definitely down for that. Now, honestly though, the coolest and most interesting part about this game is that the protagonist wears a magical medallion around the neck, which has the power to revive him or her after death. There is, of course, a cost, however, and that cost is time. Each time you die and revive, your character will age more and more. We're not entirely sure how much he or she is aging upon each death, but it would be pretty cool to see your character turn into an old martial arts badass, because like that's the center of like everything that's martial arts and badass. You gotta be old while you do it. This does beg the question though, is there permadeath? At the moment, they have not given us an answer, but it could be possible that once your hero is aged too much, you die permanently. That's just kind of a suspicion that I have, but I have no idea if it's true or not. So not much else has been said about Sifu, but I think it looks super fun and I cannot wait to hear more about it. Alright, so not much has been said about this next game, but if you love cats and robots, it's absolutely something you want to know about. Just saying that honestly should be enough for you to be interested. And now we're just moving on. Stray is a futuristic cat simulator. Also, that should be enough to sell you. That takes place in a cyber city post-human world that is ruled and lived in by robots. It would seem as though there are no signs of organic life with the exception of you, who obviously is a stray cat. It is uncertain kind of whether or not other animals would be in the game, but based off of the singular trailer that Sony showed off back in June, there hasn't been much light shed on this title, honestly. One of the only overviews we've gotten about this game is that you must, quote, untangle an ancient mystery to escape a long-forgotten city. Some key features of the game are going to include exploring highs and lows of an unforgiving city with unforeseen threats. So it really seems like traversal is going to be a really massive aspect of the gameplay, and I wouldn't be surprised if the game is going to involve some puzzle solving as well. Stealth apparently is also an expected mechanic where you will be at times, quote, as annoying as possible with the strange inhabitants of this world. That sounds pretty hilarious to me, honestly. All I can imagine is just being such an asshole cat to robots, basically. You will also befriend a droid companion who I'm assuming will help you in a variety of different ways, probably with puzzles, traversals, different things like that, maybe escaping dangerous enemies. While there are no other details on the game's gameplay or story so far, it looks like a super interesting and unique concept. Since I love games with that kind of art style and uniqueness, and my cat literally looks identical to the one you're going to play as, I'm definitely going to be getting this one when it drops. And with a little bit of luck, Stray might be the next best thing since they added buttholes to the movie Cats. And there it is! There it is, our 5 upcoming PS5 games that you probably just didn't even know about. I hope you learned something. I hope you saw something that you liked. I know we did, if you couldn't tell. Stoked about everything, 100%. And yeah, I'm probably gonna have even more for you guys in the future, so keep it locked right here. Watch out for new notifications, hit the subscribe button and the bell, and like the video if you liked it or if you saw something that you liked. Either way, also let us know what your most anticipated game is for this year. I'm really stoked. There's a lot of good ones coming. We will see you guys next time. Bye.